we spoke to some pastors of the church.
Yeah.
They confirmed that they've been to, excuse my language, villages, all their ministry. Is that fair?
You see, we think of the work of God. I personally, even as the chairman, I'm surprised about some people. Sometimes if you, for instance, my younger brother, one of my younger brothers is in the ministry, and he was transferred to a farm place. And somebody was, why should he go to a farm place? And I said, who should go
Who should go there?
I mean, who should go there? It's an area that somebody should go. People sometimes have a different motive of coming to the ministry. And if you have a different motive of coming to the ministry, God may have to prune you. God may have to prune you.
But shouldn't ministers taste everything? So you taste the village, you come to the, the towns, and you go to the city. So they have a diverse and a unique ministry. Should it be village-centered all the time, sir?
My concept of God is sometimes quite different from some people. For me, I believe God is in control of my life as a Christian. And He causes all things together for me. And then He knows how to steer my affairs. So wherever I go, God is in. If I need to go to anywhere that I go, whether somebody may call it a village, a town, or a city, God will want me go and do something there. So my concern is not where you go, but the God who is steering the affairs of my life. And one time I was telling one pastor, area head, when he was called as an area head, appointed, he went to a place, immediately he went there. There was a major problem with the mission house, his residence. The whole thing would have to be, the roofing had to be done, a whole renovation. He had to leave the house. He was posted to the second station. This same thing happened. The same thing. I only dedicated his new residence during the Easter. So when I met him, I said, we pray. We don't know the next place we go. Maybe God has given you this special grace. So God deals with people differently. And I believe that when you come to the ministry, you just have the motive of serving God. It is that same Lord who directs your affair. One time, you see, I travel with people. Sometimes I'll go to a place, hear about a pastor. So when I visit a place, I do sometimes ask people to come and share what they have heard from their pastors concerning the themes. And one time I went to a place, for instance, one pastor's name was mentioned several times. Then I called the area head, the town. Give me this pastor, I want to travel with him. Other time too, I will just see an area head. Recommend somebody from among your area, I want to travel with him. So I have different ways. One time I decided just to look at the pastors and pick a name. I'm just looking at the pastors. I want to pick a name. I don't know the person. So I pick a name. I was in fasting and prayers, of course, 10 days. And I decided that I would do that. I felt the Lord was speaking to me. And I picked a pastor. When I traveled with him to a district, there were two that I traveled that day. And I asked him to preach. The place that he preached, the area head came to tell me that, Chairman, I'm surprised. I said, what? He said, the message really fits the area. You see, so these things, when I saw the ministry of that person, later on, we had to transfer him to handle, because I realized that he was very well endowed with grace. But that's how it came about.
I see, but who is this person?
Who is this
person?
I am talking about, he's called Jamina. Yes, Pastor Jamina. Now in,
which district?
Now in New Tafo.
I see.
Do you know him?
Special shout out to Pastor Jamina in New Tafo. But typically, pastors of the Church of Pentecost do not have any other, jobs aside pastoring. So how does the church again ensure, their financial stability and comfort as they go about doing the work of the Lord?
Yeah, I think that the Church of Pentecost has one of the best systems of taking care about their pastors. Because your accommodation will be provided freely for you. Then your travels will be paid for you. your utility bills also will be paid for you. And these are the essential commodities. So once you have these things, you should be able to live normally.
Sir?
But the salary itself is not big. The salary itself. And one of the things at the Church of Pentecost system that is also very extraordinary is that the salary of the chairman, for instance,
how much are you paid?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Yeah, the salary of the chairman,
Right.
And that of the new overseer does not have a very big
How
gap.
much is it? So tell us.
I told you that I'll tell you. It doesn't have any big difference at all. Even the difference between, sometimes a person can take more than the chairman. If you have been in the ministry more than the chairman, you take bigger salary. My take-home salary with all the allowances is 3,500.
Including fuel and everything.
Everything.
3,000.
That is my take-home.
But
with all the allowances. So the basic salary
Chairman, that is you. So
Listen.
just imagine someone with 4 kids.
Right.
But you're talking about all these nice things. Yes, the building, the cars, and the bills being paid for. But seriously, how much is 1,000 Ghana cedis, and how much is school fees and all of that? So don't you think that it's about time something is done about it? Welfare of pastors.
Yeah, you see, taking the salaries into consideration, that is why the church had to take care of the building, the traveling expenses, the electricity.
It's not much.
No, these
Pastors
things are important.
move around a lot. Saturday funeral, Sunday church visiting members, one soul, one member. It's a lot of travels. And then if you're giving him 1,000 Ghana cedis for all
travels.
of that, and it's even less. So again, is there a special program in place to actually cater for the pastors so that they are accountable, if I'm in Wale Wale or somewhere very far away? I know that the Church of Pentecost is taking care of me. Is there anything like that?
You see, though we have something special allowance given to those people in what we call the internal missions area, like we mentioned, Wale Wale, in the northern parts of Ghana, and coming to a place like Kintampo in Banafo, Eastern region of Afram place. We have places, Volta region to Ketekrachi and in Kwanta. We consider such places internal missions. We give them special allowance, but it's not any big money. But I think once we take care of these things and you are given the salary, then the rest will come from the God you think has called you. You see, for instance, I came to the ministry as a young man and developed through that. And I believe that once you get these things and then do the part of God, the rest will come to you. Sometimes
Chairman,
the system...
Are pastors of the church paid, similarly across board, as other churches do? Comparing, is it similar? Our
salaries.
Yes.
As I said, wherever you are, you take the same salary.
No. So let's compare, let's say, Pentecost and Catholics. What do you think? Do you think that we are paid better? They are paid better? I mean, what's your general view?
I actually don't know the pay of the Catholics. They may take allowances differently. But you see, the Catholic system is quite different. I was in a certain place where a Catholic priest died. And they wanted the relatives to come for the things. I mean, was it 2 boxes of things? And for them, that one is a higher sacrifice. Because it's a higher sacrifice. Maybe you take the Pentecost and Methodist, Presby, and other distances. But we think that I think the Church of Pentecost is doing very well.
Tell me, so what of motivation? Apart from the salaries you talked about, and then the
motivation.
No, the motivation for pastors. Are there incentives, to motivate them?
My motivation is the call of God. I love the ministry so much that I can do it without pay. If you say do it. It's something that I really love. So sometimes I don't see, when it comes to monetary issues, I don't see the challenges with money at all. But let me tell you this story. When I was at work, one time I did not have anything at all. No money, no food, completely nothing. That happens to me once. And I said, well, it is the Lord who has called me.
Yep.
I went to my room and prayed. Then I heard the voice saying, the Holy Spirit speaking to me. How much do you want? I said 10 cedis. Then only 10 cedis, I said 20. And then
was it big money then?
Yeah. So I came out. Within 1 hour, I saw a woman carrying a ball of kinky. She had never given us anything. On her head, brought it to the mission house with an envelope. And then she left. When she left, I was eager and anxious to open the envelope. When I opened it, it was 26.
Wow.
And I said, oh, then if I knew,
you'd have said a million. I see, but
so I have that strong sense of God's presence that what I believe that is your need, God will provide. That has been my motivation.
But sir, how much again of a role do the church members again play in the financial stability of their pastors, and does the church actually encourage them in this way?
You see, the members love their pastors. Many of them give food items.
Yes.
Some will give you money. Some would like to come and serve. When I was in Kumasi, some people decided to come and wash my vehicle, just to come and wash the vehicle for me. That was somebody volunteered that he was a professional driver. He would like to come and drive me wherever I was going. The members love their pastors, that they also support through individual givings. That aspect also is there.
Speaking to some of the members, they tell you that passion has gone down because there was a communique by your outfit here, the head office, that says that, you can visit the mission hall, but the rules and regulations surrounding it were too much. So again, do the members have flexibility to actually go visit their pastors?
Yes, what you said, we review what we call the ministerial welfare practices.
Right.
That may be one of the things that I also brought in. And that one rather is trying to say that members should rather voluntarily visit their pastors. We do not want what we will say that church would have to sit down every month and then we decide something, go and give.
What is wrong with that, sir? What is wrong with that?
You see, we don't. You were talking of some people saying that I did not agree with my apostle or something. I've been transferred to a remote area or something like that. We don't want a situation where people will try to say that this is our pastor, how much are we going to give to him? Someone said 1,000, 2,000, and then they begin to fight. Someone will bypass. You say, we had wanted to give you this one. Another person said no. Then it creates enmity.
Wouldn't it be easier? Wouldn't it be easier for a communique to come from the head office that says that, well, every month the church or the district, depending on your, capabilities and capacity, you can give the pastor 1,000 cedis. Can't there be?
No, we don't want to burden the church. It is our responsibility as the leaders to fix salaries and allowances of ministers. But when it comes to benevolence, giving, we should not even burden the church. We should let individuals who feel that I want to do something, do it. You should not say that you have decided on the salary of a pastor, taking other things into consideration, thinking that should be enough. So once you do that, you have done your part. Maybe I'm seeing your background as someone coming from Mission House, and therefore you are trying to speak on behalf of fellow
no.
So I'm seeing that you are being biased.
I'm not being biased. No, I'm not. You know what? This is hard truth. Or some will ask for this one. No, I am coming from the mission house, yes. But exactly, so that gives me the upper hand to know the issues. On interactions with some of these pastors, they're like, well, why can't our members come home and all of that? So why is that again?
You see, interestingly, members can go to pastor's house. You have to visit the pastor. If you have a gift, you can give it. But it should not be mandatory. Once you do something mandatory, once you mandate people, go and do that, you are issuing a law that will kill. And they wouldn't do it from their heart. And that will not bring blessings to the people.
So tell me, will there come a time pastors, so you talked about 3,000. Would there come a time where pastors, go to the bank and they check their accounts and it's 5,000 Ghana cedis each?
For me,
will there come that time?
For me, maybe I sense the grace of God. I believe strongly that God is behind us. Once we've sat down, in other words, the finance board has sat down, approved or recommended by the executive council to general council, and it is approved. Taking these basic things like accommodation, utility bills, transportation into consideration and give you something, knowing that you are maybe we have somebody with a first degree studying here. This is what the person is taking, and maybe even the accommodation has not been taken into consideration. This should be sufficient for us, and I am happy. Money does not become a focus in my life at all. Thinking that no, they are going to increase right from the beginning of the salaries. I must tell you that sometimes, as a pastor, when I went to council meeting and people said, waiting for finance board report, 15%, some people are happy. I become surprised. For me, that was not part at all, right from the inception of my ministry.
I see.
So yeah, I don't consent. I believe that once we have this basic one, God will provide the rest.
As of for God will provide.
Have you seen a convention center?
Yes, I've been there. Amazing.
Listen, my belief was that we were not going to raise fund to build that one. That we were not going to raise fund. We were not also going to stop giving of grants. And we put it up without raising funds. So the God I believe in is that when he sees something as a need, he will prove himself faithful. That's the God I believe.
I see. But regarding the retirement of pastors,
yes.
There is knowledge that some serve, in the church for many years and, yet are found in a deplorable state upon retirement. Is this problem, something that you have tackled proactively?
Our retirement system is one of the best in the country.
I see.
It's one of the best in the country. Yes. Yes, because before going out, we were working for a scheme. We settled a pension scheme, and we didn't think we needed a SNIT. But SNIT had to come in and say that it's a policy, because we did not believe in SNIT. We didn't believe in it because when people were going, they would have to go and fight, and sometimes they would have to, excuse me to say, give bribe before they could even get their own money back. And that was bad. So the Church of Pentecost established a system, but SNIT wanted us to come in, where because we live in a land that has its own laws, we had to give into that. However, we have established our own welfare system that should support us, and the welfare system is very good. So even when somebody goes on retirement, you have a system where that welfare support should be able to give that person something on monthly basis, which is appreciable. I wouldn't like to mention DS publicly, but it's very appreciable. I'm joining them in August.
We'll be right back. We'll be right back. Do stay on. Welcome back. You are still watching The Hard Truth, and we are proudly brought to you by Murphy Homes, our industrial city, and Paul's Fitness Gym. I'm still here with the chairman of the Church of Pentecost, Apostle Professor Kojo Opoku Onyinah. Sir, the Pentecost International Worship Centers are as a result of, I would say, modernization of the church to attract and maintain expatriates and, Africans in the diaspora to, appeal to the youth and intellectuals. Has the PIWC concepts lived up to expectation?
Yeah, at least the PIs have actually...
And we hear you are the first, you are the one who started the PIWC.
Yes, I...
to that.
In fact, Pastor Safo and Anan, who were the chairman and general secretary respectively of the church, initiated the English assemblies of the Church of Pentecost within the cities. That there were some people who could not understand the local dialects within the cities. For instance, in Accra, you may have some people who will not understand the Twi language. In places, Twi were spoken in Ga. And therefore, why can't we establish English assemblies for them? Then when I came in as the International Missions Director, when I was elected, I was asked to be at the pastor the English assemblies. They were 3 with under various districts. But I was asked to see to the welfare of them. Then when I visited 3 of them, for me, I thought we were joking. And we needed a system where expatriates, Africans or Ghanaians whose culture have changed because of the way and manner they have maybe interacted with others. People study and come out with a changed mind. People visit other countries. So I thought we needed a system that would be multicultural approach.
Right.
In other words, missiological approach. And that brought up the concept. And then at that time too, the issue of headgear was very strong in the Church of Pentecost. Sitting arrangement was very strong. And then type of dress coming to church, like coming with trousers. So I thought that we need a system that will be accommodative to people who do not have our own culture. And that brought about the PIs. And I think it served the purpose. In fact, when we started it, within 1.5 years, we started with about 125 members. Within 1.5 years, the membership had shot to 650.
This was Kokomlimle, right? It started at Kokomlimle, right?
Kokomlimle, to about 650. And when we checked Church of Pentecost members who were in, they were about 1/3 of the people who had come there. So I realized that it was very effective. However, some members complained a lot to the then executive council members.
What about?
We heard that there are some people who are worshiping with the Church of Pentecost, they don't cover their hairs, and that men and women sit together. And others say that these people, they are not spiritual. And I think the fathers look at it and thought that no, let's withdraw the PIWC concept and go back to English assembly. By English assembly, it means it will be the normal type of Church of Pentecost, and then try to follow Church of Pentecost as it is. That actually stagnated the concept of the PIWCs up to a certain time.
Right.
But fortunately, the real concept has come back. And now it's growing in many areas. You see, the Kokomrimre one started with 120. Now it has been divided into 2. The Kokomrimre one alone should be more than 1,000 members. And then Kwabinya, that was an offshoot of Kokomrimre, has even grown past the Kokomrimre time. So you realize that it has become very, very useful. And it produced one missionary who has become very instrumental in our missions in India. That is Pastor Raj. He was a member of the Kokomrimre one. And now he's a minister, planted church in his own country. So I think, yes, it has done a good job.
But although the PIWCs have contributed immensely to the growth of the church in areas of finance and human resource development and, retaining a lot of the youth and intellectuals in the church, one Yao, as Safo, as Akowa of the PIWCs indicated, he did a research and indicated that the impact of the PIWCs, has contributed to the fairness in evangelism and, discipleship and all of that. Has the concerns been addressed? So we are looking at not evangelizing properly, not birthing new churches, but the local churches do have that. So do you think that these concerns have been addressed?
Yeah, because the PIWCs are one concept that is supposed to use a common, maybe international language within the system. So in Accra, that is English. Let's say in France, it should be
French.
English, or in the Francophone country too, that should be French. Something that others can come on board. Yes, so they find it difficult opening assemblies as done by the local churches. Because within the community where the PIWC is, there should be another church, Church of Pentecost, that does evangelism of the community of planting new churches. So the PIWC will not be allowed to plant a new church as such. So their growth often comes through growth within and not dividing churches as has been the principle or the practice of the church.
What of one member one? So there's a policy like that. Do you think the PIWCs are contributing to one member one? So
yeah, they should do that. Then that is why within 1.5 years, the first one was able to increase from 125 to about 650. So yeah, they do that one too. It will depend upon the evangelistic ethos of the pastor who is there. And once you have somebody who is very evangelistic inclined and someone who is a teacher who can teach things that will attract people to come, you see still the PIWC growing.
A clear example is where I reside, PIWC community. Yes. A new pastor, Christiaka, would actually spank you if you don't bring a member to church. So, yes, so I think that is really springing up. But ministers of PIWCs are, superintended over, cross-cultural and across-dominated congregants. Are such ministers given periodic orientation, relevant to the specialized ministry to be able to effectively address the needs of these various groups, that comes to the church?
Yeah, I realized that was even a lack. It was a fallow area. So within what I call the Vision 2018, we started that. Then before someone is posted to PIWC, all those people should come for an orientation. And we had to organize a special conference for PIWC officers for them to understand the concept very much. And so periodically, they will be invited again. But before you become a pastor now of a PI, you have to go through that sort of training. So I think at least as I exit the scene, I believe that the next chairman would continue with such idea because it helps the officers and the members of the PIWC to understand the concept and then follow up the concept.
Gender inequality continues to receive, much discussion and debate across the globe. But what are, I will ask you your views on the issue, how equal should men be to women?
You see, if you come to the Bible, we are all equal, right from the book of Genesis.
Yep.
Yeah, we are all equal. Except that when it comes to two people, for instance, all apostles are equal when you come to the Church of Pentecost. And that is why somebody can become a chairman after that is reviewed. And if the person is not going on retirement, he can still go back and serve, like Apostle Ntumi. So all apostles are equal. But whenever there are people more than two, more than one, there has to be a leader.
Yeah.
And that is why you see from the beginning of creation, leadership along that side was given to man. But it's not about equality. But if you come to Christ, Paul has emphasized that all of us are the same, even both male and female. We are the same. People are struggling, including all of us classical Pentecostals, to understand that concept very well. But I think what we try to do is to accept that, allow women also to function and put their giftings into operation.
But some believe that the religion is the hardest barrier women must overcome to achieve gender equality. Is religion a barrier to attaining gender equality, even in the church? Do you think that's a barrier?
Yeah, religion can be a barrier. But if you understand religion and take Christianity, for instance, then you see that Christianity has promoted the liberty, freedom of women. Because we can say that freedom of women and understanding of women in society properly came through Western civilization. And Western civilization was dominated by Christianity. You see, it was the Romans who the Romans were the first people to promote the liberty of women. They promote the woman was the mistress of the home, and Western society in general bought into it and has led a crusade leading to the liberty of women. But it came through Christianity. So you cannot say that, for instance, Christianity stifled the development of women. Christianity per se has actually encouraged the freedom that women are enjoying now.
as the world advances, women are playing more and more significant roles in society. And, in some churches too, I would say, does the Church of Pentecost have plans to allow, more women to hold, pastoring positions in the church?
I went to France.
Right.
And a young girl conducted an interview, as you are doing now. And she said that she wanted to be an apostle. No, she asked me a question about women leadership. And then after that, I said, well, perhaps you will become one of the first women apostles of the church. She said, no, I'm not thinking of an apostle of the church, but if more than that, to be the chairman. The first woman chairman of the Church of Pentecost.
Okay.
Classical Pentecostals, coming from Timothy, is it 1 Timothy 2 and 1 Corinthians chapter 14, find it difficult for women to become ministers. Classical Pentecostals are the Pentecostals which started in the early part of the 20th century.
Right.
Yes. So they find it difficult. Others have allowed women to come. Others have not been able to allow women. And Church of Pentecost is one of the churches that has not understood it along that line. In other words, the Church of Pentecost thinks that women are not part of the ministry with regard to being called into a full-time.
If that is the church's position, what's your personal position?
No, I wouldn't bring.
Why is that?
No, I wouldn't like to bring my personal position, because as a leader, once you speak, whether it is personal or not personal, is considered as something that is.
We are putting it on record that is your personal.
No,
opinion.
I wouldn't like to bring my personal views on it. I will still speak.
Will there come a time where, from where you sit, being with the executives and all of that, but did you think there will come a time where
I don't know
women are allowed to pastor a church?
I don't know. You see, some of the things that I initiated from during my tenure of office as a chairman, I really felt that the Lord was leading me to do those things. I don't know what sort of leadings that God will lead another chairman and future chairman.
Will it be wrong for us to have female pastors?
No, I would say that that one would depend upon the leading.
But really?
No, I'm saying that one would depend upon how God will lead women. For instance, you see, if something has not even matured and you do it, people will not understand. Look at even the issue of the community that you've asked a few questions about. It was even women who were fighting against it. Let me tell you something. I asked women to stand on their own in leadership like an area women's leader without a patron. Formerly, every area women leader had a patron. The women director had an apostle as a patron. Then we decided to remove the patrons for the women leaders to stand on their own. During one of their meetings, the first meeting that I attended, one of the leaders wanted to know why we should remove the men, because they were really, really supporting them as patrons. No, that is an indication that even she was not, excuse me to say, ready to stand alone without a man guiding her. So,
but sir, again, let's look at the pastors' wives. You'll be amazed when some of them stand on the podium to actually preach. But not much is heard of them, not much is seen with them apart from following their pastors or their husbands to church. Are there special plans for pastors' wives?
Well, the pastors' wives have many things to do. I mean, they have the opportunity to preach, the opportunity to teach, the opportunity to lead worship, opportunity to visit. So I think that, you see, Church of Pentecost women are not asking about the pastorate. They are not. I mean, some of the young people are beginning to bring the issue out, because they are not asking because they seem even to be fulfilled. They do everything that men do, with the exception of the calling. So somehow they've not taken the notice that even they are not ministers, because they can preach. They can teach. You go to a convention, a woman will be allowed to preach.
Once in a while.
At a church setting, they do it a lot. Their names are on on the speaker's plan.
Will we ever have our pastors' wives being paid? Are you ever going to pay the pastors' wives?
That is what I told you that it will depend upon the leading at the time. If a pastor's wife is appointed or called, you see, but
I mean, all of them, no appointment, no call. They are putting their husbands, they are doing the same work, and it's a lot of work.
They are supporting.
Exactly. And exactly supporting. Are there going to be some allowances for them?
The allowances come, as of now, through their husbands. If your husband is working somewhere else, your support comes through your husband. And that is what they are enjoying now.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to The Hard Truth. Apostle Professor Opoku Onyinah, Chairman of the Church of Pentecost, is still here. So in April 2017, you, I think, indicated during the launch of the Youth Political Chamber, that Christians should take political leadership positions in order to prevent wrong people from, taking over governance system and coming out with bad decisions and policies. Drawing from what you said, or, are you saying that political leaders are not Christians enough, or our political leaders now are not Christians enough?
There are very good political leaders, but some come from the Christian community, others come from the Muslim community, and others from other types of religion. We have some very good leaders around, and but still, I also believe that there are bad notes. And formerly, some Christians did not believe that Christians can get into politics. And politics, they said, was a dirty game. So that was preventing many people from joining politics. That was one of the worst decisions that some Christians took. One of the worst. Because politics is leadership. Once you come to a nation and you become the president, you would have to initiate policies, and that is leading people, implementing the constitution of the country, trying to cause changes here and there. So I think that if there is such an institution, then Christians should get into that institution and then try to bring the mind of God as they believe to bear on the institutions.
But again, those in leadership or in politics now, most of them are, even the bad ones that you're talking about now. So what is Christianity doing to these same people there to actually change their mindset?
You see, if you are talking of Christianity, you may have people who have the name of Christian or Christ on them. However, they may not be true Christians. If I'm talking of Christians, I am concerned about a real disciple of Christ, somebody who has bought into the discipleship of Christ and has been transformed himself and has also the aim of entering and bring in and translate the principles of Christ into practical life situations, into political life of situations. So these are the people that I want to join politics. For instance, if you have those people, they are not going to amend constitutions to legalize homosexuality. They are not going to do that. If you have such discipled Christians, they wouldn't do that.
With the current crop of religious leaders we have, with many of them living in opulence and using religious ministry to make money and to promote integrity and all of that, do you think that we can use religion to promote integrity, accountability in our political governance? Yeah,
we can still use religion to do that. We can use religion in general, but I'm concerned about Christianity since I am a Christian and I know the Christian system more than any other system, so I can speak of that. But there are other religions too that can do well, but unless you know the concept and the system, you can't speak into it as I can speak into Christianity. If I look at the Christian principles, the principles of Christ, the principles of selflessness, the principle of loving your neighbor as yourself. If I look at the principles of the kingdom, righteousness, justice, I realize that if we have a Christian who is actually Christ-centered within such a system, he should be able to bring transformation within his area of supervision.
President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo inaugurated a 13-member board of trustees who will be in charge of the National Cathedral when it's complete, and you are one of the members selected. But sections of Ghanaians have questioned the relevance of the National Cathedral at the time when the president said, the economy is in a bad shape. Do you really think that we need a National Cathedral now?
Yeah, you see, the president has to explain the concept to the trustees, the board of trustees, and people who are still concerned or were concerned about it. He thought that once we have such a place, we will be able to hold sometimes some official services as some ceremonial services and then other services. If the president is, let's say, a Christian, that person can be the swearing-in ceremony can sometimes be held there, funeral services and other things, joint prayer meetings when there is going to be, let's say, election. Christianity and religion in general has played major role. That it can be a place. Listen, it can be a place where Christians can go, put out our Bible and pray. Is it a
priority now? I mean, Ghana beyond aid, the economy is in the basha, but do you think that we really need right now? We need a cathedral.
I am somebody who respects leadership. I actually respect leadership, and I believe that once leaders take many things into consideration and they come out with such a thing, I would not publicly speak against it.
But so you criticize government decision last year.
No, I would criticize if I need to criticize.
You criticized government decision last year to sponsor Christians to the holy cities across the world. And you said, and I quoted, I don't think government should sponsor people to travel. We've got so many things to do, and the nation has so many challenges, and the money should go there. So you have changed your stance now on a similar issue, whether we really need a national cathedral. So why didn't you say, well, we have other issues of
this
importance?
One, we were consulted. We were consulted. And I said the same thing that that you've said. That yes, we don't believe that was a priority. In fact, that one too, the previous government said it. We said the same thing. So when this government came and the minister wanted to do it, we said the same thing. And he said, no, we are not using government money. You see, what we are trying to do is to arrange for some people who want to go through their own funds. So we don't believe that the government would have to sponsor people to Israel. Yeah, that is it. And this one, we said that the government has come out to explain his purpose to us. And once the government came in to say it, we understand where he was coming from.
But can't these same monies you are going to collect from people be used on national staff instead of building a cathedral?
Yeah. I told you that I'm someone who respects leadership. And once something has come out clearly, and I've had the opportunity of speaking with a person who initiated the idea, if I had any views about it, I've shared it with the person. I wouldn't think I would speak against such a person publicly or anywhere. No,
right. But what will you tell the section of Ghanaians who view your support and that of the Christian leaders for construction of a national cathedral in the face of poverty as a betrayal? You think you are betraying them?
That is what I've said. That I believe in leadership. Leadership has come. He has explained what we need to do here. We met. We have discussed the issue. I am okay with the discussion that has come out. And I wouldn't like to go beyond that discussion.
Is it right for the government to meddle excessively in religion? What's your take on that? Is it right?
No, I would not. I wouldn't get into that issue, whether it's an issue of meddling with it, because governments, they work in cooperation with religion. All the governments, the previous one was working with Christians as well as Muslims. Former President His Excellency John Mahama would visit Christians, visit Muslims, so as the current one.
I'm saying that because the director of elections for the Convention Supports Party, Kwame Kwabena Bomfe Jr., has, sued the president, saying that praying the Supreme Court to declare that it is wrong for the organs of state to excessively, entangle in religious practices. Do you think that it's
the issue again? What did he sue the government?
He sued them. He said that the president they are praying to the Supreme Court to declare that it is wrong for the organ of state to be excessively entangled in any religion or religious practices.
The Supreme Court has not come out. I heard that if there's something before the Supreme Court, we don't speak about it. So I'll hold on until they bring their judgment.
I see. But really, you'll be retiring in 4 months, I guess God willing. What are your plans after retirement? Are you going to play golf? Are you going to go on some long holiday? What are you going to do?
Yeah. Officially, I should have retired next year. Yeah. We retired at age 65. Now, when I retire, I will still be assisting in counseling new pastors who are coming and pastors who would like to visit. Personally, I'll have a center called African Pentecostal Spirituality that will try to train people.
Will it be a unit of the church?
No, it's
yours.
But still, you see, the Executive Council has consulted the heads, and they think that former chairman, being statesman of the church, should have offices. And so that they'll be able to still support the church through their experiences. And now one of the things that I would like to take up is that center. It's just, it's not directly, because I'm still under the church.
But I'm curious. So you are retiring at 64.
Yeah.
So let's say one of the pastors and apostles decide I want to retire at 60 years. I mean, is that allowed?
You see, the 64 is to assist the executive from encountering challenges. You see, there is only one person who actually worked correctly, just constitutionally, coming to the ministry and then ending 43 years. Apostle D.K. Annan. He was 22 when he was called, as I was 22 when I was called.
I see.
My desire was to work for 43 years so that I am a par with my father that, yes, when we are talking of those people who served the church longest constitutionally, then I would be one.
What would be so wrong for you to, be in active ministry?
No, but then I retired this year.
Is it that you want to maintain the chairman as I retired as a chairman of the Church of Pentecost?
I wanted to help the Executive Council not to have too much trouble.
Do you want to retire with the name, the chairman of the Church of Pentecost?
That is not an issue for me at all.
Right.
Yeah, because whether you retire as a chairman or not, you'll be referred to as a former chairman.
Right.
So you don't have a problem with that one. Then what they will do to any retired minister, any retired chairman, once you go, that one will be done to you. So there's no... But I wanted to do that because I'll be left with... By the time I've retired, I'll be given a leave. It's part of our convention. Once you become a chairman or general secretary or IMED for 2 consecutive terms of 10
years.
Yes, you must at least go for leave for 3 months. So after retiring, after being reviewed, I should go for 3 months. Then after that, I come and left with about 9 months.
Yeah.
And even to be less than 9 months because we often retire in August. So I assumed duty maybe January or December and then retired in August. Where will the executive send me? They will say, where are you sending the person? Where is he going to be? Are you going to be, if I'm going to an area, you go for an area for 9 months and then you are retired.
So what will happen to the pastors who say, chairman retired at 64, so I want to retire at 40?
No, so
would that be allowed?
Would
that be allowed? Any retirement for pastors, is it allowed?
No, so you realize that here you have helped the executive council.
Right.
So now what the executive has done is that we've set a committee because we know this will not be the last and first, to consider possible chairman who may have about 1 year, 2 years, and 3 years to retire after their term tenure of office, what should be done. So we are going through that. We have a voluntary retirement, an age. Once we come to a certain age and we want to voluntarily retire, we have a system where we have to.
And will they get full retirement packages?
Yes, they will get their retirement packages. But we don't have people who want to retire early. We rather have people who want to extend.
I see.
Who want to extend their
Is that
years.
allowed? Is that allowed?
No.
65
you
years.
can. If you want to extend, it will come to General Council meeting. And when the General Executive will examine it, and if you think that what the person is saying is actually relevant and understandable, then the executive would recommend the person's application to the General Council for approval. Yes, so we do that.
Finally, I'm curious, what kind of person is likely to succeed you?
I want somebody who is an apostle or a prophet and demonstrate the prophetic or the apostolic in his ministry.
Has God spoken to you? Do we have a name?
No, you see, it will not be very polite for me to unfold.
No, don't tell me
yeah,
who.
that's what I'm
has
telling
God
you that,
spoken to you and given you a name?
No, that is what I'm saying, that it will not be very polite for me to unfold what I would like to do, whether God has spoken to me or not. For me, all those things will be kept secret until the D-Day is up. And that has been a policy that I have adopted in my system.
I'm thinking that you were put in a tight corner. God spoke to you, but still there was a name up. You mentioned, someone's name, and then there was an election, and then it came back to you and all. Why don't you put the minds of the prophets and the pastors at ease? Has God spoken to you, sir, or not? Just tell us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that I will never disclose whether...
Don't give me a name, but
no,
you
I
can
understand.
tell me
Whether,
if God has spoken.
I will tell you whether God had spoken to me or not after the election.
But I will know already, so why can't you tell me on the hard truth now?
Yeah, now I don't want to reveal it before time. You see, it's not always right.
Are we likely to go for a runoff? Are we likely to, have the first election and the second election? Do you think?
Who knows the future?
Praying.
The nature.
You're not being friendly to the hard truth. At least give us some information.
Yeah, that is the hard truth.
I know, but really, seriously, sir,
yes.
Are we likely to have what we went through, yourself went through?
I say, who knows the future? We as leaders, I'm talking of the Executive Council.
Right.
I think the Executive Council has done very well by managing situations. If you are a leader, you may not hear of many things. But at least one of the rumors that I'm not hearing now, I don't know whether perhaps because I'm the chairman of the church, is whether people are campaigning or not. But some time ago, people were, they said this person has said that, they said, now the rumors that may go on may be those that others are suggesting. People, you see, whenever there's going to be things like this, people will make up their own mind and speak. But at least there is some sort of calmness regarding the apostles and the prophets who are the possible candidates. So I thank God for that. And I'm praying that God will grant us the grace to swim through peacefully without any
Are we going
challenge.
to see a surprise? Are we all going to be surprised?
Who knows? The surprise will depend upon the individuals.
But sir, really, tell me finally, have you ever taken a decision as a chairman that, in your quiet moment you regret? You say, I should have done this better. Maybe perhaps on anything at all, on transfers, on demotions, anything?
Yeah. By the grace of God, I do not take harsh decisions. Personally, I haven't led the executive to take any decisions that I've regretted now. Yeah, I don't. The decisions may hurt some people, which I apologize for hurting them because the approach of things may not be the same for people.
Right.
But I've never regretted of any decision that I have led the executive to take at all, up to this time.
Since this might be the last time of interviewing before you retire, can you say a word of prayer for Ghana? You can bow our heads and say.
Yes, fine. Father God, we thank you for giving us this land of Ghana and for the peace and tranquility that you've given to us as a nation. I pray that your peace will continue to rule and reign.
Amen.
That, Father God, you will continue to give the president and his vice, the whole entourage, the ministers, wisdom and knowledge to be able to lead and govern the nation in such a way that the peace that we have enjoyed so far will continue. And I pray for all parliamentarians. I pray for the opposition. That, Father God, they will be able to discharge their duties effectively.
Amen.
So that through their work, the government will be put on toll and that the right thing will always be done. Amen. And I pray for the media. I pray for the judiciary. Father God, I pray for all sectors, the educational arena, the entertainment arena, and all sorts of groupings within the country, that, Father, you continue to rule and reign, captivates the hearts and minds of people so that everybody will do their work as you expect them to do. And may the fear of God reign supreme in the country. And may blessings, prosperity continue to follow Ghanaians. May we be able to develop the land that you've given to us and use our natural resources rightly. I thank you, Father, for hearing us. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for talking to the Hard Truth. Thank you. I've been talking to Apostle Professor Opoku Onyinah. He is the chairman of the Church of Pentecost, and you've been watching the Hard Truth. We are proudly brought to you by Murphy Homes, our industrial city, and Paul's Fitness Gym. You can send your comments to social media platforms. You have a word for the chairman. Is there anything you want him changed before he goes? Hit us on our media platforms on your screens. Catch a repeat of the program tomorrow morning. It's at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. And my name is Nana Akosia Kunedu Asante Samuels. Have a good night. Bye.